Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here with us today. My name is Mally Rosado, and I'm the president of the Court of Common Council for the City of Hartford. I am calling to order this regular scheduled council meeting of April 12th, 2021. For members of the community, please be advised that this meeting is being broadcasted and recorded by the Hartford Public Access Television and can be viewed via Hartford Public Access TV Facebook page, Comcast, Xfinity Channel 96, or Channel 6032 for Frontier customers. Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Present.
Councilman Clark.
Present.
Councilman Gale. Councilman LeBron.
Present.
Councilman Mitchum.
Present.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Present.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Here.
Councilman Sanchez. Councilman Surgeon.
Here.
Councilwoman Surgeon, sorry.
That's okay.
Councilman Gale. Councilman Sanchez. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. And for the record, our corporation counsel, Howard Rifkin, is also with us. And now our town clerk will lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Based on the events that have transpired during this weekend, we are asking now for a moment of silence before we start our council meeting. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we approve the minutes of the March 22nd, 2021 meeting, as well as the special meeting that took place on April 5th of 2021.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and properly second. Are there any discussions regarding the minutes? Any discussions? There being none. Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Bermudez.
Yes.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilman Gale. Councilman LeBron.
Yes.
Councilman Mitchum.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti.
Yes.
Councilman Sanchez. Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we place the following items on the consent calendar. Item number 4, Mayor Bronin with a company resolution authorizing the City of Hartford to accept a grant of $300,000 from the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving for COVID-19 vaccine education and outreach throughout the City of Hartford. Item number 5, Mayor Bronin with a company resolution authorizing the City of Hartford to spend $100,000 from the adopted budget for fiscal year 2021 for the Hartford Universal Representation Program. Item number 18, resolution that the Hartford Court of Common Council sends its congratulations to Coach John Gallagher and the entire University of Hartford men's basketball team for their stellar performance this year and its best wishes for the next season. And item number 20, resolution requesting that pursuant to the resolution passed on March 22nd by this council, the initial members will be appointed to serve on the UBI task force and will work to develop a pilot program for the City of Hartford over the next several months.
I second the motion.
Motion has been made and properly second. Councilwoman Bermudez, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to say thank you so much to the mayor and the entire administration, the entire team, for making item number 5 possible And I just wanted to share just a brief history to refresh folks' memory, those who are watching. This is not a new concept. The city of Hartford in 2020 made this a reality, allocating funds to assist immigrants who are undocumented, who are specifically Hartford residents and are facing deportation. And back in 2020, at the initial onset of this program, there was a collaboration directly from many different community groups. And we on council received letters of support from folks in the community, such as the West Indian Social Club. We've received letters from Beverly Reed, for example. We've also received letters of support from the Hartford, the Hispanic Health Council in Hartford. We've also received letters of support from the Hartford Legal Aid Group, as well as the New Haven Legal Aid Group. We've received letters of support for this from our own City of Hartford Commission on Refugees and Immigrants, known as CREA. We've received letters of support on this from the Connecticut Students for a Dream, and the list goes on, but I'll stop there. So it's really, and again, this is to reference 2020 and now leading to this year, we as a council body approved this and we allocated these funds. We would have loved for the funds to have received matching grant funds from the Vera Institute, which is something that we were working towards obtaining with the support of the mayor's administration. And we also have to recognize that given that, you know, amidst being a pandemic year and amidst putting out a lot of fires and making sure that we were surviving on many different fronts, and in the midst of all that, establishing relationships with who would be able to carry out this item. And that was the Legal Aid Network. So it took some time to really foment that partnership between the City of Hartford, this fund that's available, to really say, okay, this is the right point person, this is the right group entity to be able to provide this kind of support. So I've given a brief history of where it all started in 2020 and how it's grown and where we are today. And it's something that we recognize this is a very vulnerable population. These are our Hartford residents who are undocumented immigrants, who in this pandemic year have really been hit the hardest, and it's the least that we can do. And so I applaud the efforts of the entire council body. I especially commend the efforts of the mayor's office, the mayor, and also our COO for allowing this to be able to be put forth today before us, before the funds no longer are available, right? Because we are entering into budget season come May, and by then, we've already allocated the funds, but by then, we don't want them to go nowhere. We really want them to, as a council body, to be used by one of our most vulnerable populations that we have, our Hartford residents who are undocumented. And I would also encourage my council colleague, Mikdum, to say a couple of words as well. Thank you.
Councilman Mitchum, you have the floor.
Since I've been called on to speak by my colleague, I may as well do it. I'll just say for my other colleagues, you may recall that when we did the budget last year, this was something where folks who had been working on this project were expecting a matching grant from the Vera Institute for Justice, who had basically told me, Councilwoman Bermudez, other folks, that it was in the bag. Well, the money apparently ran out in the time that it took for us to line up the folks who would do the work. In other words, it's universal representation. It's supposed to be representing undocumented people. So we had to find a local nonprofit that had the capacity. And of course, our hope was to get a Hartford nonprofit like Great Hartford Legal Aid. But it turned out that really the only one nearby was New Haven Legal Aid, had the capacity and the know-how to do this work at this scale. But by the time all that was worked out and we said, okay, Vera Institute, we're ready, they had run out of money for their fiscal year. And so they said, come see us next year, maybe we'll have money then. And so this adjustment allows us to spend the money we appropriated even without the matching funds. And of course, we do hope that next year, if this goes well, we can keep it going and get more outside support. But that is the reason for this.
Thank you. Are there any discussions? Any other discussions or comments? Councilman Clark?
Thank you, Madam President. Also, for the record, if I did not mention it, on the consent calendar, it should be item number 15, resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant of $30,000 from the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving.
Duly noted. Any other comments? There being none. Councilwoman Surgeon?
I'm sorry, Madam President. I just want to commend the Councilman Wisham and Councilwoman Bermudez for bringing this issue to our attention. God, I can't speak. One of the things I've discovered in the pandemic is friends or family members also who are being, looking to be deported. They've been calling around to all the family, in the Northeast region, looking for us to contribute funds for them to hire an attorney for some help. So I thank you for doing this. Now I can refer them to the New Haven Legal Aid for assistance because it was very difficult to come up with $15,000, basically, to help out. And so we did come up with some, but not all 15,000. So I want to thank you guys very much. So now I can recommend to my family friend, where to go to get some help. So again, thank you and I appreciate your support.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Bermudez,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman LeBron,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti,
yes,
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I would like to make the motion that we receive the following items. Item number 8, Labor, Education, Workforce, and Youth Development Committee, communication to discharge from committee a resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant of $30,000 from the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving. Item number 9, Health and Human Services Committee, communication with accompanying annual report submitted on behalf of the Advisory Commission on Food Policy for the City of Hartford. This annual report is mandated by the city ordinance and recounts the activities of the commission for 2020. Item number 10, Health and Human Services Committee, communication concerning a resolution requesting that the mayor's office to provide more consistent administrative support dedicated to translation services for Hartford's Puerto Rican, Latin, and Hispanic communities. Item number 11, which is the Health and Human Services Committee, communication concerning a resolution that the Mayor of Hartford, the Hartford Health Department, local government officials, state legislators, and the Capital Region Council of Government, CROG, take the lead and collectively dig out the root causes of homelessness and work systematically to put in place a process for all 169 towns to actively contribute and participate in an issue that affects us all. Item number 12, Health and Human Services Committee, communication concerning an ordinance amending Chapter 27, itinerant vendors, street vendors, and food trucks of the Hartford Municipal Code. Item number 13, Health and Human Services Committee, communication concerning a resolution requesting that the Court of Common Council calls on representatives from the Hartford Public Library and the Mayor's Office to provide an update on progress of this taxpayer-funded initiative, and the city's Office of Community Engagement provide a biannual report to the Court of Common Council on its efforts to engage, inform, educate Hartford's refugee and immigrant families.
I second the motion.
A motion has been made and properly second. Are there any questions, any discussions? Any questions, any discussions? There being none, Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Bermudez,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman LeBron,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado,
Yes, I'm sorry, I was on mute.
Councilwoman Rossetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we refer the following items to the set committees. Item number 1 to the Operations Management and Budget and Government Accountability, which is Mayor Bronin with a company resolution authorizing the city to execute the terms of a tax lien sale at 20 Sargent Street with 20 Sargent Street LLC owned by Max Katari. Item number 2 to the Operations Management, Budget and Government Accountability, which is Mayor Bronin with accompanying resolution authorizing the city to enter into a 15-year tax fixing agreement with Spinnaker Real Estate Partners LLC of 1 North Water Street, Norwalk, Connecticut. Item number 3 to the Operations Management, Budget and Government Accountability Committee, Mayor Bronin with accompanying resolution that will authorize and empower the city to amend an agreement between the city and Diligent at the request of the clerk's office to run for a term of 3 years instead of 1 year. Item number 6 to the Operations Management, Budget and Government Accountability Committee, Mayor Bronin with the company resolution authorizing the city to waive building permits and related fees on a major public housing renovation being undertaken by the Housing Authority of the City of Hartford for 5 at 5 locations: Mayor Shepherd Place, 275-293 Bellevue Street, 7-21 Sanford Street, 123 to 125 Martin Street, and 31 to 33 Capon Street. Item number 7 to the Public Works, Parks, Recreation, and Environment Committee, Mayor Bronin with the company resolution authorizing the city to accept a grant of $128,500 from the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving to fund a portion of Love Hartford, a new initiative that broadens our efforts to give residents and community groups the opportunity to beautify their neighborhoods. Item number 16 to the Quality of Life and Public Safety Committee, resolution requesting that the Quality of Life and Public Safety Committee of the Court of Common Council take up at its next meeting the question of what recommendations to make, if any, concerning the impending renegotiation of the police union contract labor between the Hartford Police Union and the City of Hartford. And item number 19 to the Committee of the Whole, resolution requesting that the Court of Common Council invites the I-Quote Partnership and relevant representatives to present the Hartford 400 Highway Improvement Project to the Court of Common Council.
I second the motion.
Motion has been made and properly second. Are there any questions? Any discussions? Any discussions? There being none, Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Bermudez,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman LeBron,
Yes.
Councilman Mishton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado,
Yes to all. I'm recusing myself from the Hartford Housing Authority resolution. Thank you.
Councilwoman Rossetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we postpone the following item until April 26, 2021. Item number 14, ordinance amending Chapter 2, appointments of department head requirements, Section 850, residency requirements of the municipal code.
Second the motion.
Motion has been made and properly second. Are there any discussions? Any discussions? There being none, Mr. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Bermudez,
Yes.
Councilman Clark,
Yes.
Councilman LeBron,
Yes.
Councilman Mishton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rosado,
Yes.
Councilwoman Rossetti,
Yes.
Councilwoman Surgeon.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Through you, I'd like to make the motion that we withdraw item number 17, which is a resolution requesting that the mayor, in preparation of the 2021 annual budget and all appropriate future budgets, identify the American Rescue Plan of 2021 and similar legislation as a revenue source of any portion of the budget, and identify the specificity as required by Chapter 10, Section 2 of the City Charter, how these funds shall be expended.
I second the motion.
And now, for clarifications, and this is a question to Corporation Counsel for the members that are viewing us. A motion has been made and properly second for this withdrawal. Vote does not have to be taken because the makers of this resolution are withdrawing them. And so we've heard from Councilman Clark, LeBron, Councilwoman Surgeon, should she have to withdraw her name also as a maker of this resolution?
Through you, Council President, yes, she should.
Yes, I do agree for this item to be withdrawn because we did pass another item similar in our last council meeting.
Thank you. So this item has been withdrawn from the agenda. I want to thank everyone. This concludes our meeting for this evening. Want to wish everyone a good night. Stay safe, and we'll see you later. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.